Well, let's return to our breaking news this hour because the Syrian army says it's shot down 2 Israeli military aircraft, a drone and a jet. It's being reported by a Syrian news agency. They reportedly came down in the Golan Heights region. Our Middle East correspondent Paula Sleer joins us now from Tel Aviv with more on this. Good morning to you, Paula. What more do we know then about this?
Well, what we know is that yesterday afternoon, mortar fire was targeting the Israeli Golan Heights. Now, we understand that there were no reports of injuries and no damage, but there certainly was mortar fire from the Syrian side that landed in Israel. In response, at around 1 o'clock this morning, Tuesday, Israeli warplanes targeted a Syrian army position in Quneitra. And in response, the Syrian army fired 2 surface-to-air missiles at the Israeli aircraft. As you say, we're hearing from the Syrian side that they shot down the Israeli warplanes, but in the last few moments the Israeli army has issued a statement, and we have spoken to them on the phone where they have denied this. This is the 5th time in the last week that there has been mortar fire from Syria landing in Israel. The Israeli army saying that it doesn't believe that any of this mortar fire deliberately targets the Israeli side, but that rather it is the result of the ongoing Syrian civil war. But having said that, the Israeli army telling us that they will respond to all airstrikes on Israeli soil. Now, there are 2 parts of the story so far that are unusual. It is unusual for Syria to use surface-to-air missiles to try and shoot down Israeli warplanes, and at the same time it's unusual for Israel to use warplanes to target the Syrian side. Normally, when there has been such incidents in the past, the Israeli side uses artillery fire rather than warplanes to try and target the locations from where it believes this artillery fire is originating. At this stage, we're still waiting for a little bit more clarity from the Israeli side, but certainly we are hearing 2 very different messages coming out of Tel Aviv and coming out of Damascus as to whether or not these Israeli warplanes have been shot down.
Sure, OK. Thanks, Paula. That was RT's Paula Sleer there live from Tel Aviv. Well, within the last few minutes, the Israeli Defence Forces have issued a statement on Twitter saying that 2 missiles were launched from Syria this morning after the Israeli Air Force targeted Syrian artillery positions. The IDF, they do claim its aircraft were not hit.